This meeting is called to order in accordance with the Open Public Meetings Law, in accordance with Chapter 231 of the Public Laws of 1975. Adequate notice of this meeting has been provided. This meeting of April 21, 2025 was published in the Courier News and Star Ledger and placed on the Borough's website and bulletin board at Borough Hall. A copy of this notice is available to the public, and a copy of this statement shall be included in the minutes of this meeting. Mayor Brian Gallagher.
Here.
Council members Teresa Bonner.
Here.
Andrew Conti.
Here.
Glenn Denny.
Here.
Randy Pitts.
Here.
Gina Stravic.
Here.
And Roger Vroom is excused this evening.
Okay, please stand for the salute.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, motion for approval of the minutes of April 7, please.
So moved. Second.
Discussion. Roll call.
Council members Teresa Bonner.
Yes.
Andrew Conti.
Yes.
Glenn Denny.
Yes.
Randy Pitts.
Yes.
Gina Stravic.
Yes.
Okay, departmental reports and notices are as listed, but just as reminders for a few folks, primary election date change, the new date is June 10th of 2025 of this year. Again, primary election day is June 10. And we have one polling location change in Somerville. Vanderveer Elementary School is no longer a polling location. For many years, folks have gone to Vanderveer School. That is changing, and the new location is the Somerville Emergency Services Facility on Gaston Avenue. That's the new emergency services facility. I just want to make sure that people understand that and people know that. Kevin, when we do that, can we also make sure that on election day, primary election day, that we have a notice at Vanderveer, a small sign that points people?
Sure, we'll take care of that.
Additionally, we have the Memorial Day Parade coming up on May 26. That was resurrected last year, and we're looking forward to it again. I know Teresa's working with the committee on that now and beginning preparations for our Memorial Day Parade. And same day, we also have the tour of Somerville as well, which I'm sure Glenn is the liaison to that committee. And then we also have Girls' Night Out coming up on May 15th downtown. So. Committee reports. Andrew.
Met with the Historic Advisory Committee. They are excited, and we are excited about the work at the Borough Hall that's starting. It'll continue through the summer months. It's been funded through grants from the New Jersey Historic Trust and the Somerset County Historical Preservation Grant Program. And the idea is to continue the restoration of the original windows and I believe the portico front entrance as well.
Great. Okay, excellent. Gina.
Just following up on that a little bit, I did attend the Paul Revere Walk, 250th celebration of the ride of Paul Revere, and Wallace House curator Paul had a great program, which I attended, and Rich was there, and 30 people. It was a really good turnout, very interesting. So I think our community needs to be supportive of the Wallace House and Dutch Parsonage, and what better way to celebrate our local history. But following up on that, in terms of the Board of Health, I have no report. In terms of the rescue squad, Deputy Chief Alice Kondo is here today. She did send me a report, which I'm trying to pull over. Here we go. 300 volunteer hours given this month for riding on calls. 116 calls, I'm sorry, this is a March report. 116 calls in March, including 16 fire alarms. And they participated in a community event. They are now riding, on-call rig is operating out of the Gaston Avenue building, the new emergency facility. And like I said, 300 volunteer riding hours. Major reason for calls, sick, falls, and fire alarms. So that is the report that I have today.
Great. Thank you. Glenn.
All right, so a couple of different things. As the mayor mentioned, we have the tour of Somerville coming up. I hope that you're getting as excited as I am. It is the 80th running of the tour. It is North America's oldest bicycle race, and it is right here in Somerville. If you've never come out to it after the parade on Memorial Day, I highly recommend doing so. The sound and speed of the bikes flying by on Main Street and High Street is just incredible. You can also support the tour. If you're not going to Girls Night Out, you can come to the Patriots game on the 15th, and some of the proceeds there will go and help support and pay for that, for us to be able to run the tour. Also, you can go to www.tourofsomerville.com, and you can check out some of the different swag and merchandise that is there. We're doing an $80 for a commemorative gift bag that has all different things described there on the website. Follow Facebook and Instagram for updates on the tour, and be sure to mark your calendar. Come for the parade, stay for the tour. As far as environmental goes, I was fortunate enough to be able to attend Duke Farms' forest restoration program on April 9th. They, through grants and other items, they're restoring, or they're planting 53,000 trees and shrubs in the floodplains on the other side of the Raritan, from across from Raritan, Borough of Raritan, all the way to 206. So those 53,000 plants will be doing hopefully wonders to help slow down floodwaters and absorb some of the water to reduce the impacts on anything downstream, which includes us. So I was happy to go there. The Environmental Commission would also like to thank the DPW for all of their help with our rain garden cleanup. And they're also continuing to promote the PSE&G Energy Efficiency Campaign. And then tomorrow's Earth Day, but we'll be celebrating Earth Day all weekend, starting with a town-wide swap. You can put out used or gently used items on the curb for free. Be sure to take in anything that was not swapped out by the end of the weekend. And then on Saturday at 9 a.m., we'll be meeting at Division Street. You can come and we will distribute bags and things to go do a town-wide cleanup. And then come back at 11 o'clock for our Green Fair, which will have all sorts of different environmental education and eco-vendor booths with all sorts of different activities. You can find out more details and see some of the vendors on the Instagram posts and on Facebook for the environmental. And that is all I have, Mayor.
Excellent.
There's a lot going
Yeah.
on. Good stuff here.
That is, that's great, great stuff. Teresa?
Thank you. My report's kind of late this month, or this week, but we did have a Public Safety Committee meeting this past Thursday, April 17th. We were happy to see that the parking spaces were approved to be removed at the corner by the middle school, which I saw today have already been painted, which was so fast and amazing. So that was wonderful to be able to really see at that intersection when you're driving through. But now we're going to be looking at other intersections that have recently had some dangerous accidents happening. I brought that to the attention of the committee, and they're now working on some thoughts with that. And they're also going to be starting to work on creating some educational material to not only post on social media and possibly the borough website, but also to hand out at certain events and things if the public Safety Committee has a table at those events, like National Night Out and things like that. The Somerville Library Board of Trustees meeting is happening this Thursday at 6:30 p.m. at the public library, so I'll be able to report on that next meeting. And just a little something that I did myself today. I represented the council and the mayor at Life Skills Day at Somerville Middle School. So I had the opportunity to speak with sixth graders in Mr. Zubia's class for 4 classes, and am I tired. I've always respected teachers, but they are superheroes. They are totally superheroes. To be able to do that every day for a full day is amazing. But it was really great to talk about civic engagement and the importance of volunteering in your community, and I think that it was received well, and I got some thank you notes from the kids when I was leaving, which was really sweet. But anyway, so that's my little
Great.
extra for this week.
Excellent. Thank you. Randy?
Thank you, Mayor. The DSA has been awarded a $150,000 grant from Main Street, New Jersey. This major investment will support enhancements along Division Street, Giardino Walkway, and key storefront areas throughout our Main Street corridor. The project's timeline will begin June of this year and run through May of 2026. Congrats to the DSA and their efforts to keep our downtown welcoming and thriving. That's all I have.
Awesome. All right, great, thank you. We'll now have, let me back up a second. So at our last meeting, we had a thorough budget presentation from our CFO, Paige Elster, and our administrator, Kevin Sluka. And they went through all of the revenues, expenditures, those items of note under each. Did a very thorough job, I thought, very complete. And more importantly, I think, well and easily understood by anybody who took time to take a look at the presentation that you put together. Somerville has a history of, I'll say, respectful and restrained approach to our budgeting process. And that's been going on for decades. Former Mayor Sullivan is in the audience, and for how many years were you the finance chair? A whole lot. But yeah. And
More money there than anyone in the history of
I'm going to remember that one. But I think it's a, it's a testament to the folks that have sat up here, not only currently, but in the past, that, they've taken a very watchful, mindful eye for the taxpayer. And when all is said and done, everybody wants to look, if you're looking at a spreadsheet, you always look to the bottom right. You want to see what that final number is. And that final number this year on the average assessed home is about $27 a year tax increase. And again, it's due to a lot. There's a number of offsets from a revenue side. There's a number of additional expenditures, but reduction in expenditures. And it's the balance of all of that that the Budget Committee, along with our professionals, have put together a budget. A very positive impact on our budgets right now are the pilot programs. And there's a lot of folks out there that will say, well, there's the developers are getting breaks. They're not paying any taxes. Well, they're not called taxes. They're called payments in lieu of taxes. And the amount of revenue that they are generating right now is extremely significant and having a very beneficial effect on our budgeting process, ultimately on the taxpayer. And that's not something that just happened this year. This goes back probably about 17, 18 years, almost 20 years in terms of planning for this eventuality. There's a few folks, well, no, I think Dennis and I were on the council, and having this vision of how do we bring Somerville forward, and how can we restart the economic engine of Somerville, and those positive effects are being felt now, and there's more to come on that. So with that, I will ask for a motion to open the public hearing on the 2025 municipal budget.
So moved.
Discussion. Roll call.
Council members Teresa Bonner,
Yes.
Andrew Conti,
Yes.
Glenn Dene,
Yes.
Randy Pitts.
Yes.
Gina Stravic.
Yes.
Okay, public hearing on the municipal budget is now open. Mr. Sullivan, Mayor.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Dennis Sullivan, 8 South Richards Avenue, speaking once again as a private citizen, taxpayer, and homeowner. 7.9 cents a day. That's the increase this year. Gas prices haven't come down. Stamps are going up. Your IRA is going down. The fact that the council, not just this past year, but in the past decade, has been careful, planful, conservative. It's a testament not just to the people at the table, but the taxpayers in the town who expect good leadership. And we've been fortunate through many administrations. Probably you mentioned pilots going back to Dave Holland. Dave was elected in 1995, and that was just a few years after the Bridgewater Mall opened. You couldn't find a pedestrian in Somerville back then. So it's not just this past year, it's a combination of 30 years of hard work, good planning. I commend the council for a responsible budget. If you read the local paper, neighboring communities are looking at 35% school tax increases, 10% municipal tax increases, budget cuts, layoffs. We've done a very good job in managing the money that people send to Borough Hall. And I commend you this year, and I look forward to next year's budget as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. Any other public comment? Hearing none, I'll ask for a motion to close.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? Roll call.
Council members Teresa Bonner,
Yes.
Andrew Conti,
Yes.
Glenn Denny.
Yes.
Randy Pitts.
Yes.
Gina Stravic.
Yes.
So that is the municipal portion of the tax bill. I think we're still waiting on the school and the county to strike their rates for the full tax bill, but know that from your municipal side that we are respectful and restrained with the taxpayers' money. So, at this point, I will ask for a motion on the 2025 municipal budget and user-friendly budget adoption.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Roll call.
Council members Teresa Bonner,
Yes.
Andrew Conti,
Yes.
Glenn Denny.
Yes.
Randy Pitts.
Yes.
Gina Stravic.
Yes.
Okay, we'll ask for a motion to open the meeting to the public.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Roll call.
Council members Teresa Bonner,
Yes.
Andrew Conti,
Yes.
Glenn Denny.
Yes.
Randy Pitts.
Yes.
Gina Stravic.
Yes.
Public is now open. Hearing, Mr. Sullivan?
Dennis Sullivan, 8 South Richards Avenue. Kevin said
You
I
get a
should.
new 5 minutes on
I
this
should
one.
be. I should be home watching the Mets, but they haven't started yet. So, I had the opportunity to attend a zoning board meeting several weeks ago, and group home will be opening up on High Street. Cliff Street, or High Street. I'm sorry, High Street. And I remember back in the late '90s, Mayor Holland at the time invited someone from DCA to come to Somerville to talk about in our opinion at that time, the glut of group homes. I'm not against group homes. I spent my entire professional career advocating for the disabled. But I think it's incumbent upon the governing body, and I'll ask you, Mayor, specifically, to reach out to the state to find out what the criteria will be for new group homes, what the rules and regulations are in terms of group homes for population or square feet in the town, whatever. Somerville is a great host community, but if a tree has too many mushrooms on it, the tree is going to die. And again, you will never find a better advocate for the disabled than myself. But I think, 30 years ago, we got a commitment from the state of New Jersey. We had a representative from, I don't remember if it was the governor's office or someone in the decision-making ability.
Human Services.
With Human Services. And agreed with us that 13 was too many. And we were able to maintain that number for a number of years. To this new outfit's credit, they will be paying taxes. They were very specific in their population, in their numbers, and how the management's going to be, going to be done. And I think the zoning board and the public that were there were satisfied with the operation of this particular group home. But I think moving forward, we need to have the ground rules established so that it will allay the fears of the public. So if you could reach out to Trenton and have someone prepare a position paper, or even come to a council meeting and talk about how those licenses are given. Because once the license is granted, they're exempt from zoning. So I think what's important is to find out how the licenses come to the state, how they're vetted, so we're not just, sweeping up after the parade is done. So I would, ask that you, undertake that to just let us know, because I think a lot of people in town don't realize how many there are, and that's a good thing, because they're invisible, they're quiet, they're well run. But how many more will come? How many will be willing to pay taxes? It's unknown. And we're all working very hard to make the community welcome to all. But what about people that have been here for years? Little information, I think, is needed. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other public comment? Hearing none, I'll ask for a motion to close.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? Roll call.
Council members Teresa Bonner,
Yes.
Andrew Conti,
Yes.
Glenn Denny,
Yes.
Randy Pitts.
Yes.
Gina Stravic.
Yes.
Dennis, I think that's probably a good idea. It's part of the reason I'm sitting where I'm at. I started to get active in '98 when the group homes, we started to see a very large rise in group homes. And Somerville's, you know, we shoulder our responsibilities very well, our social responsibilities. And at some point, you know, it begins to almost be of the opinion that, you know, there are agencies that may take advantage of that. And back then, in '98, we did. We got the state to make a verbal commitment. They wouldn't put it in writing, but they made a verbal commitment that, because Somerville at that time was, I think, had the densest, based on our size, the densest number of group homes in the entire state. And we had the aid of Walter Kavanaugh, Senator Kavanaugh, in those discussions. And it looks like it may be time again that, you know, these need to be had. I don't know if it's Division of Children and Families or if it's Human Services, but I'll ask Kevin to maybe do a little bit of research to find out what agency is in charge of those, and we'll begin some discussions with them. Again, every community needs to shoulder those social responsibilities, and when one begins to shoulder more than the others, that's a problem. So, point well taken, so thank you.
Mayor, if I may?
Yeah.
I think another piece of this is, besides the taxes, is the impact on the local neighbors. And you and I have been through that, Brian. The management of the corporations or the owners of the properties, we have to make sure that they step up and protect the rest of the neighborhoods, I think is a key piece. That's where a lot of the problems lie, between parking, loud employees that are coming on shifts 3 times a day, lack of maintenance on the properties, and lack of attention to their clients who sometimes go missing. So all that impacts the local neighbors and us.
We've both helped some of their clients get back to their home.
We have.
Yeah. So good point, thank you. All right, ordinance for introduction. Ordinance 2763 is an ordinance providing funding for various capital purposes for the Borough of Somerville and appropriating $2,175,800 for such purpose. This is done each year. We look for those larger capital expenses, and we bond for those so that we can pay for those over time. It's everything from DPW equipment to roads, and a lot of items in between. There are a number of items. Kevin, can we be sure that we post that up on the Borough website?
Sure.
Thank you. I will open up for public comment on the ordinance. It's not something that needs to be done or has to be done. It's just a policy that, you know, I like to open it up for public comment prior to the adoption where it's required. So public comment on 2763 is now open. Hearing none, I'll close 2763, and I'll ask for a motion for introduction.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Roll call.
Council members Teresa Bonner,
Yes.
Andrew Conti,
Yes.
Glenn Denny,
Yes.
Randy Pitts.
Yes.
Gina Stravic.
Yes.
All right, consent resolutions. Do we have any to be pulled off for further discussion? Okay. 108, awarding a 24-month contract to RJM Landscape and Design for grass cutting and lawn maintenance. 109, authorizing a contract with Millennium Communications Group for door access control phone systems and items as detailed in the amount of $106,472.75. 110 is amending a lease agreement for 137 West High Street between the Borough of Somerville and the First Aid and Rescue Squad of Somerville to reflect a new start date of May 1, 2025. 111 is authorizing the Borough Administrator to execute an authorization letter to give consent to Premier Community Signs to make application to the NJDOT seeking a permit to erect a sign structure. 112 is authorizing the use of competitive contracting for the procurement of vending machine services at the Emergency Services Facility. 113 is approving the hiring of lifeguards for 25 pool season. 114 is authorizing the purchase of a 2009 Chevy Tahoe from the Township of Ocean Fire District Number 2. 115 is approving Liquid Church Somerset with hosting the Special Needs Carnival to be held at Somerville High School parking lot on June 21, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. 116 is amending the 2025 Policy and Procedure Manual. 117 is supporting the submission of an application for New Jersey DOT set-aside grant program for Main Street Streetscape Project. 118 is approving change order number 1 and closing out the 2019 Transit Village Grant for the 2019 streetscape improvements performed by A&A Berms. 119 is memorializing the issuance of a non-binding letter of interest intent to procure a ladder truck from Absolute Fire Protection. 120 is authorizing application for funding through the Governor's Council on Alcoholism and Drug Abuse and authorizing acceptance of the award. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilmembers Teresa Bonner,
Yes.
Andrew Conti,
Yes.
Glenn Denny,
Yes.
Randy Pitts.
Yes.
Gina Stravic.
Yes.
All right, in the absence of Council President Vroom, Gina.
So I have a motion to approve payment of bills and vouchers in the amount of $2,012,790.29.
Second.
Discussion. Roll call.
Councilmembers Teresa Bonner,
Yes.
Andrew Conti,
Yes.
Glenn Denny,
Yes.
Randy Pitts.
Yes.
Gina Stravic.
Yes.
All right, and I'm forgetting who I did last time, but Mr. Conti, I will ask for a motion for adjournment.
Motion for adjournment.
Second.
I was wondering if everybody wanted to stay. Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? This meeting is adjourned.